little small habits that contribute to what our brain health looks like. So Sandi and Lori, over to you.
So yes, it's time to get personal, and we actually do have one more QR code for you today. So I believe we're going to ask you to scan a QR code that's going to show up, and this is going to take you to an 8-question quiz. And I'm going to encourage you.
Pull your phone out, everyone.
If you can, scan
Everybody
this.
do it, and be honest.
And
no cheating.
We'll start in just a second, but I'm going to encourage you to try to keep track of your own response pattern here. We will share at the end some general feedback as to how y'all did as a group, but I encourage you to think about your own response pattern here and where you fall. Okay, so once everybody's gotten a chance to scan, we will bring up the first question. And this is one of those where you'll get to see a little bit of how the group is responding in real time. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first question. How often are you in back-to-back meetings or tasks without any breaks in between? So think about those days where you were going, no break. Okay, this is interesting in the middle here, Sandi. We're seeing a lot of sometimes, often. We have a few that are over here and all the time, and I'm very curious about y'all who are in the never category.
Yeah, so let me tell you what happens when you do that. Your frontal lobes, each meeting that you go to the next one is less activated. You actually have less activation when you go from meeting to meeting. So every meeting you go to, your frontal lobes is what makes your decision-making sharp and clear and deeper. So I go from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. What's my brain's frontal lobe doing? It's losing capacity. So you want breaks. Remember I said ER, effort, recovery, take breaks. So we would love to see everyone go that you're never. Wouldn't that be cool? Is that possible? Try it.
Excellent. Let's go to the next question. Okay, how often are you trying to take in large volumes of information and news? Is that a never for you, or do you feel like that's all the time? Information overload. Ooh, I'm seeing a different skew on this one, Sandi. A lot of often, a lot of all the time.
The more information you take in, the more shallow your brain, and the more you do not build this kind of frontal lobe network. So if you take in less and go deeper, you will build a stronger brain. This is very toxic. The more information, the more you fray your brain's working.
Okay, next question. How often are you engaged in multiple tasks and or conversations simultaneously? What we like to affectionately call multitasking. How often is this a thing for you? Ooh, that shot up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, a definite skew towards the heavy end here.
Yeah, so, workplaces used to say that was a badge of courage, right? Or a badge of how smart you are if you can multitask. That's cool. Well, we now know, and many people quote me, because the science is so clear that multitasking is the most destructive thing you can do the way you use your brain. We see that individuals not only thin their hippocampus, they pour cortisol on their brain so that stress, depression is elevated, and their sleep is severely disrupted. When I say multitasking is to the brain as cigarette smoking is to the lungs. People that are constantly multitasking, brain looks very much like someone with early Alzheimer's disease. So if you start multitasking from this point forward, I just say, why don't you just pull out your cigarette?
Yikes.
It's that toxic.
Whew, on that note, let's go to the next question.
Silence.
Okay, this is a different kind of question. How often do you feel like you were cruising on autopilot, right? So following a routine without much thought. How often is this true for you? Okay, a little bit of a different pattern here. So more in this just occasionally sometimes zone.
Yeah, so autopilot is kind of interesting. Your brain, you lose capacity if you stay on it too long, but it also allows you to recover. So sometimes you want to go on autopilot and not do everything with so much effort. When people say drive a new direction to work every day, I say, why would you waste your brain to do that? You want to save it for higher things. So, autopilot can be bad, but it can also be good to help your brain recover.
Excellent. Okay, next question, please. How often are you on your phone? Essentially from the moment that you wake up in the morning all the way until you close your eyes at the end of the night. On your screens, on your technology.
Or even have it by your side, right?
True.
Lori, I kind of panicked because I couldn't bring mine up here.
Well, you're not alone, Sandi. Look at this.
Oh, man. So our phones are our best friend. We call it an adult pacifier now. If it gets too far from us, I need my adult pacifier. Give it to me. And you know what we find is that it is the number one toxic thing that keeps your social relationships from being impaired. You're not present. You're thinking about your phone and not the person or the task in front of you. So again, your phone is a bad pacifier. I see the baby and thinking about pacifiers with our babies and grandbabies, but it is. Don't you hate to leave your phone very long? Yeah, keeps you from being present. And people connection in the job workplace is now predicted to be the number one thing that's most important, Natalie. How we connect to people and have different ideas. So getting rid of the phone in meetings. Okay.
Okay. All right. What about this one? How often are you sitting at your desk for hours on end? That sedentary life. Okay, I would say it's probably the most distributed of the one we've had so far.
Yeah, so our brain is a hungry animal. It needs a lot of glucose. So if you would just get up and after every hour, walk fast for 5 minutes, your brain would get restored to do something. So sitting for long periods of time, you actually have less glucose, and your brain uses 20 to 25% of your whole body's energy source. So if you have a task or a meeting, and then you walk around real fast afterwards for just 5 minutes, you will see your brain re-energized.
Excellent. Okay, how about this one? How often do you reach the end of your day with no energy left for your personal life? How much is that true for you? Okay, a bit of a mixed bag here, but I'm seeing a lot on this end.
Yeah, your brain can really, if you will let it rest, we tell people to take 5-minute breaks throughout the day, so that when you got home and when you're on your way home, to let your brain rest. Don't have your radio going. Don't be talking on the phone, to let your brain reset, so that you will help your brain reset, so that you can have energy for the people you love the most.
Love that. Okay, last question. Y'all made it. So this one's a little different than the others. We want to ask, how often do you tackle your to-do list in whatever order it appears? Willy-nilly. Okay, very interesting. I think we have a pretty strategic group here today. I'd like to see that.
I agree completely. Yeah, very good. Because we tell people to make sure that you use your top 2 things to do the most efficiently.
Excellent. And now let's give you a little bit of feedback. So if you think of your brain like a battery, these are all practices that, if you're doing them a lot, can very much drain that battery. So for those of you who were answering mostly 3 and 4, and I'm curious, are any of y'all willing to fess up to that? We would say you were most likely running on empty when it comes to your brain's battery. How about the next category? Any of you mostly 2 and 3, kind of that middle level of response? Okay, we would consider this probably a little bit low power, especially as you think about the end of the day. What about this category? Good power. Do we have any kind of superstars in the room here? Generally ones and twos. That's what it takes to help your battery really have good power. And I have to ask about this last one. But in truth, I have yet to find this person. This is the unicorn. Are you here with us today? Anybody fully charged? Okay, so I want y'all to think carefully about how to help yourself increase your brain's battery.
So pull out your book, write 2 things. What are 2 things that you just learned in this Toxic Habits that you're going to try to work on immediately to make your brain more fully charged? Pull out your book and write down 2 things. Remember, we said 2 takeaways. And remember, your brain is built stronger or destroyed longer in the workplace. What kind of brain can we build? We're so excited. As you said, Natalie, we have the science, we have solutions, you have the sector to work with. Wouldn't it be great if we built stronger brains together to power this nation and solve the problems? Thank you so much for all of you being here and being part of this. Let's make our world brain healthier today. Thank you.